Hello and welcome to BAASS Connect Virtual 2021. I am Hitesh Dani, Solution Architect for Sage X3. This demonstration will be a general overview of Sage X3, showing the look, feel, and navigation of the system. According to George Westerman of MIT, in seeking to become digital masters, today's business leaders should prioritize employee experience, customer experience, and operations. We will demonstrate how Sage X3 enables your teams with an intuitive user experience, flexibility to adapt to your business workflow, and real-time visibility and insights into your business. We will also see how Sage X3 can automate some of your operations or provide alerts and notifications via built-in workflows. You will see some customer testimonials where they share the benefits and positive ROI that they have received by deploying Sage X3. Let's take a look at the product. Sage X3 is a completely browser-based application developed using HTML5 and responsive design. X3 provides an optimal viewing experience for the user across devices. X3 is device and platform independent and can be accessed from any device with any major browser anytime with active internet connectivity. This is user's homepage. The user's role and personal preferences dictate what the home screen or homepage looks like. The homepage serves as user's main method for accessing X3 applications and functionality. If you look at closely, you will notice that the homepage can be divided into sub-elements starting with the X3 toolbar. Homepage on X3 toolbar brings the user back to this homepage from anywhere in the system. Reference date defaults to today's date but can be changed to any other day and can be used as that date during certain transactions. User's personal settings show a user's profile, default language, and preferences. User's role dictate the level of access and security that they have in the system, including the landing pages that the user gets to see when they log in. The endpoint is the X3 database that the user is currently associated with. Help button takes you to Sage X3's online help center, which provides documentation, how-to guides, and tutorials for Sage X3. We have embedded Sage X3's online help center within this browser. And finally, you have Google-like search functionality in the system, where if you type in a specific keyword, Sage X3 will bring back any record where the word bike appears throughout the system. In description for an item or a customer, it can appear in description for a postal code, business partner, wherever the word bike appears, Sage X3 will bring back that record and categorize it in certain categories. So if you are looking for sales orders or headers or products, you can look at specific category simply by selecting that category. And then you can launch a sales order from here. Moving back to our home page, these are the default landing pages that are associated with this particular role. For the purposes of demonstration, we are using multiple personas from the system, In reality, you may just assign this role to a buyer, this role or this landing page to a stock manager, and so on. For each landing page, Sage X3 gives you the ability to have multiple gadgets that bring in specific information that is providing proactive insight to the user, be able to launch certain functionality or key indicators in the system, provide a dashboard. This dashboard is created using Sage Enterprise Intelligence, and provide a visual process map. Users, depending upon their permission, also have the ability to create their own home pages, which is what we have done for this demonstration. Each home page consists of one or more tabs. Each tab consists of one or more gadgets. The gadget can be a visual process map. Visual process map are a visual representation of a company's business functions and aid in navigation to those specific functions within Sage X3. There are more than 200 pre-built visual process maps available out of the box with Sage X3. For example, here is a process map that is available for operations. From here, you can launch a process map for supply chain, and from here, you can launch a purchase order. Moving to my home page, moving to my customized visual process map, you can use a built-in, simple to use editing tool to either create your own custom process map as we have done here, or take an existing process map and change it so that it meets your workflow and your business requirements. In addition to visual process map and external web pages, Sage X3 also provides calendars as gadgets. Here is an example of a CRM calendar. Sage X3 has built-in CRM functionality with bi-directional integration with Outlook. Here is my CRM calendar where I have an action to send information to a customer. I can launch that action from within the calendar. Similarly, a shipper can look at scheduled deliveries, look at all the deliveries that are scheduled for a specific day, and launch the delivery functionality from within the calendar. For the purposes of our demonstration through the day, we have created some specific insights that we'll be using later on in different sessions. Sales orders with shortages, today's pick tickets that are not picked, work orders or production orders with shortages, and orders to sign. A user has the ability to add new gadget depending upon their permission level. So they can simply go looking for a query. They can either look through each module or simply type in cells, and all the queries with cells in their name show up. Type in sales orders. My open sales order query comes up. I can select it, click OK, and right at the bottom, open sales orders are added into this mix. If I go to my home page, instead of using query open sales order, we have used an inquiry here for sales orders, which gives more functionality. So we can sort or we can filter the information looking for specific filtering criteria, and we are able to filter the results returned by this query and be able to launch a specific sales order for a specific customer. Continuing on, We have the ability to bring in a chart, drill up. So from a sales order level, you can drill up to total items. From total items, you can drill up to total country, or from a total country, drill down to items and then to sales orders and be able to launch a sales order from right here. You can share your result set in Excel, or you can save your chart in a PowerPoint. Moving away from the landing pages and dashboards, we are now going to launch the item master screen or product master screen from Visual Process Map. Product master is the central source of product information for many X3 business functions. This screen uses what we call classic Sage X3 user interface in 3 screens. On the left side, you have all of your items. Again, you have the ability to expand your left side of the list, reorganize the fields, sort, filter. Filtering so that we are only looking at raw material items, canceling my sort, canceling my filter, and typing in an item number, FIN 301. Selected item shows up in the middle. This is where you work with the item and start making changes. On the right hand side, you have context sensitive menus that give you additional functionality in the system. So for this item, you can look at inquiries, and you can look at all of your quotes, orders, deliveries, invoices, and returns, for example, for this item. You can do the same type of queries for purchasing, manufacturing, and stock modules. You could launch bill of material or routing for this item from here, or you could launch standard cost calculations for this item from here as well. Selection section gives you the ability to preset your criteria so that you do not have to go to left list and keep typing or keep filtering your list. Selecting kit brings up only items that support kitting. Information technology brings up items that we either buy or manufacture, but they are more discrete manufacturing. We are looking at servers, hardware, and IT related activities. Clicking on food brings up all the food items that we manufacture or the associated raw material items that we use as a process manufacturing organization. Now, when you look at the middle section, you have different tabs that give you the ability to go straight to that particular part of functionality in the screen without having to scroll. You have the ability to minimize your left list, ability to unpin your menu, and now if you resize your screen automatically resizes to a form factor that is more suited to tablet. This is what responsive design is all about. Go back to my desktop view, bring in the menu and pin it. Final component of the screen is the toolbar that you see on the right side. This toolbar gives you the ability to add a new item, save an existing item, save a newly added item, delete the current item provided it is not being used in transactions within the system, cancel your modifications that you have been doing on the item, refresh your list of items on the left side, be able to print this record or a list Sage X3 gives you the ability to print a list in addition to all the queries that you can bring in and export, in addition to the Excel add-in or Sage Enterprise Intelligence reporting that you have available. Here are the reports that you can print without leaving item master record. This pin gives you the ability to attach documents, images, or texts for this particular item. You can then categorize that attachment either as confidential, internal only, or external. And there is a visual cue by means of a red dot that there is an attachment for this record. Similarly, there is a comment in the comments field. You can export this record to Excel or XML. Now, some of you may be looking at this functionality and thinking this is little too more robust than what we need. And that is fine. Sage X3 can give you functionality that can be very simple. Your item master can be as simple as this, or your item master can be little more robust and little more functional, similar to what you see in this screen, or your item master can be fully scalable depending upon how you are growing your business and what level of functionality you need. You will see this ability to change the screens dynamically throughout Sage X3. We call this transactions. So you create different transactions and then you process information based on how you work with different transactions. Moving out into from item master into workflow, moving into quotes. Sage X3 has built-in workflow capability and a workflow engine that can provide a proactive alert, notification, or an action depending upon activities that are taking place in the system. Here we have enabled quote approval, signature approval workflow. We are looking at quote number 8. Notice that as you launch into a quote, you have the same 4 sections. You have a left list, you have a middle section, you have menus that have changed because you have moved away from item master to a quote, and you have your toolbar on the right side. There is also an attachment for this particular quote. If I click on signature circuit, depending upon the amount that the user is authorized to approve, user 3 needs to approve this particular quote. I'm going to launch a different browser, log in as user 3. This is X3's mobile application. So imagine for a minute you are at a customer site, you are mobile, you need to approve a quote, but you want to be able to see it first. So you launch the quote. I have created a filter so that my quote 8 automatically comes up. You look at the quote. Because this is a mobile application, there is no scroll bar. You either use touch interface to go up and down, or you simply drag your screen using your mouse. If you wish to take a look at detailed information about the item, you can do so by clicking this particular icon. If you are happy with what you see, you now have the ability to approve or reject the quote from your mobile phone or your tablet. Another way for you to be able to approve this quote is simply by getting a notification in Outlook. Within Outlook, you have a notification that quote 8 is requested by this user. Here is the information that you are looking for. This company, this site, this customer, this is the total amount of the quote. Click here to approve. Click here to reject. Click here to view this information on a desktop and then approve or reject. Click here to view on a mobile device and then approve or reject, your choice. Continuing on with the workflow theme, away from quote functionality, Sage X3 can monitor changes to your tables, to your data, and be able to give you proactive alerts. So here, someone has changed a customer's credit hold and has blocked the customer so that you cannot process orders for this customer. There is a notification. In a different example, someone has changed customers grouping from 300 to blank. Customers grouping can be used for a variety of things, including reporting, categorization, and providing volume discounts. This may be pertinent. You have an alert and you have a link so you can launch the customer record to see more detail or make necessary changes. Going back to our Sage X3, one of the most important pieces of governance and control is to be able to see activities of your user. Every record in Sage X3 has timestamp when a record gets created or a record gets changed with ID of the user who made that change. If you enable auditing on your tables, you can audit specific tables or specific fields. Here, we are auditing customer master table. So here is the table, the date, time, action. It can be update, insert, or delete. Customer ID that is being impacted, the user who made that change, the field that was being changed, and if you, because you don't know the system and you don't recognize the field names, you can simply go here and do a search for the field name. OST control is credit control. This is where you either put customer on credit hold or change them from a credit hold to credit check with a limit of credit limit amount or no check. Someone changed this customer from hold to check. You have complete visibility into what is being done in the system, and you can set a proactive alert so you get notified as this change takes place if you so wish. Moving away from governance to business intelligence, there are two parts to business intelligence. There is your transactional records, and then there is your business intelligence records, which is typically summation or summarization of your transactional records in a meaningful format. In addition to providing powerful queries and inquiries and graphing capabilities that are built into Sage X3, we have tools like Sage Enterprise Intelligence that some of you may be very familiar with. Here is a dashboard from inventory management perspective. This would be typically a dashboard that would come up for a buyer or a production manager or a warehouse manager. And because Sage X3 provides single database for multiple companies, you see different companies coming up here. We have the ability to select specific companies. So I'm only going to select my North American companies, click apply, and you see this information change dynamically. We have 77 orders on time, 34 orders that are delayed. If I remove and clear out this filter, you see this information change. In a similar fashion, depending upon how this dashboard is created, I can select a specific measure and make that part of my filtering criteria, and your entire dashboard will change only to include a specific item. I can drill down and go from this item being one of the top 10 products to actually looking at how many units I have in which site, in what status. Is it status A, status Q, or status R? Or I can simply link to another report that provides me more detailed information, eventually drilling back into Sage X3. All these capabilities are available in SEI, and you will see these capabilities more so in the SEI session that is going to take place later. Moving back to our visual process map, I'm going to change back to my PowerPoint and share with you customer testimonial from Calvin Johnson, founder and CEO at Likey.com. Since installing Sage X3, we have flowed over $29.6 million worth in orders through the system without a single day of missed orders. We have been much better at forecasting our internal inventory and have reduced our inventory on head values by 50% while increasing fill rate and inventory turns. We hope you enjoyed this session and look forward to seeing you in other parts of BAASS Connect Virtual 2021 Sage X3 track. We are now open to answer any questions that you may have. Should you have any question in future, please reach out to me, hitesh.tani@sage.com. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Wish you a fantastic day. Thank you.